How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
You pulled that out of nowhere.
Yeah. Out of his armpits.
Or did you actually sniff your armpits?
I was just smelling my hands.
He pulled it on Molly Shannon's asshole.
Yep. I'm Freddy.
Hi.
Amy is here.
That's me.
Andy is here. Andy's laughing too hard to say his name.
Hi, I'm thinking about Molly Shannon's asshole.
Yeah.
Well, we all are often.
Mikey B is here.
I'm Mikey B.
And Kelley.
One headlight. Hey, you smell that?
No.
I said
away
I'm Freddy.
from me.
That's the
You
Molly
did.
Shannon.
Get away from me.
That's what she does when you. That's the scenes they cut out. When instead of her
Yeah.
armpits, she sticks her fingers in her asshole and sniffs them.
And it's kind of like shitty.
When I get nervous, I like to stick my fingers in my butt and get sniffing like. So
Grown up.
Andy's
men.
gonna review what for Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette?
Tremors 6?
Yeah, Cold Day in Hell.
Tremors Winter
Something?
Olympics.
And later, we're going to kick off Cult Months with a new film, just came out Friday, called Hereditary, starring Toni Collette and
Gabriel Byrne.
Gabriel Byrne. Thank you. I was about to say
Alex Wolff.
And Millie Shapiro.
Alex Wolff, interestingly enough, I didn't realize it was him. He used to be on a show called The Naked Brothers Band, a kid's show.
On Disney or Nickelodeon?
I think it was Nickelodeon with his
Yeah.
brother Nat Wolff. Colin used to watch it when he was like a little kid.
Yeah.
It's a bad name for a kid's show.
Well, I
Yeah.
think the conceit was that the two boys had a band, and like when they were little, they would play in the bathtub, and so that they named.
Still, you shouldn't have naked kids
Kind
on
of
a TV show.
salacious for a kid's show.
But anyway, both of those boys have gone on to act in like decent things.
They're good boys.
Yeah.
Patrons, thank you so much for continuing to support us. I know that we haven't been keeping up the volume that we usually do, but that's because my personal life has been really difficult lately. Before I get into that, I want to thank Dale Roberson for hopping on the Beelzebub train. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Ride that train, baby.
Yep. Like I said, and it always works out, or when somebody leaves, somebody comes in and picks up the slack, so the show just keeps on going.
Just keeps on train going.
Yeah.
Running that train.
So you can support us at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Run away, train.
I was
Keep
thinking
running a
about
train on you.
I was thinking about Kelly's favorite band, Train.
Oh, he loves drops of Jupiter in his hair.
Even better,
On his chest, dribbling down his
that other
back.
song.
Crazy train.
Is
What's
it Me,
that song?
Virginia?
No, I hate that one too.
The Soul Sister song.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. That
Mr.
sounds
Mister?
So
The
The
bad.
greatest song ever written. So many layers.
So patrons will have that delayed episode of Night of the Comic about the Conan comics coming up soon.
Ooh, I will be listening to that.
Or you could be on it if you want to, Kelly.
Yeah?
You let me know.
When
Yeah.
is it?
Look at him. He's like, yeah.
I think we're either recording this Wednesday or next. But I will be in touch with you.
Yeah, please do. I would love to sit in
Yeah.
on that.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kelly
it'd be
gets
good.
to be part of the
I
cool
know.
kids.
Did you see
Welcome
him
to the
lighten
club.
up?
Kelly, don't trust it. It's a trick.
Yeah. And, so the sad stuff I wanted to get to is my mom passed away last week. We were taking care of her at home. I want to give all the love in the world to the people at Hospice of Cincinnati who...
Fantastic people. To Marsha.
Yeah, especially
Marsha.
Marsha.
I'm glad you didn't get Jan. She's the
I
worst.
know. If we had gotten a nurse named Jan. Shit.
She tried her best to put OJ away, and she did nice things for you guys.
Yeah, she did. And but those people are, and you probably hear it all the time, but the hospice people are exceptional people. And they made everything a lot easier for us, which was the most difficult time in my life the
What
past
a
few years.
Beautiful kind of thing that we got to be a part of, I'll tell you that.
Really.
In
yeah.
a really sad way, there was a lot of beauty in it. And I will miss Shelby forever. but she got to go out on her own terms.
It was, and if you don't mind me saying, I didn't want to say it the other day, but like when I was thinking about like how the family all came out and spent the weekend, like I got very choked up like describing it to Elise and I think Colin because it's exactly what you said. It was beautiful in a very sad way, but it really was like very moving, and it is definitely, if you have to, it's the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a more peaceful.
Yeah.
It was just something, and Andy's been with us through all that, and really been. And Mikey, all you guys, just been amazing friends. Thank you to John and Sarah Wagner. They sent flowers to the service.
The BGH
guys from Bloody
guys.
Good Horror. Matt and Ryan, who used to be on this show, and our friends the Gregs, and everybody just is Chizak. Everybody has just been really, really great and supportive. So thank you so much. This is my little piece of normal for now. While I do all the estate stuff. This is it, man. I'm back on podcasting.
We're going to change the
My
name
little
of this
corner of
podcast
heaven.
to that's going to be the new name of it.
Yeah.
Forget NFTLP.
But I think that's everything I want to say about that. Don't want to dwell on that a whole lot.
Sure. You done good, kid.
But thank you for everything, folks.
You done good, kids.
Mm-hmm.
We done good, kids.
Me and my sister have been very much closer now, which is great. Brought us together.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it drives people apart. It's good that you get
and
closer.
her boyfriend Raymond, we're totally super close now.
That's good.
Which is nice.
And Phileas is doing great.
I'm out of this.
Phileas is doing good.
He is. We were worried about the little guy.
Little doggy.
Yeah.
But he's doing good.
Now, in my neck of the woods, and I'm not blaming this on you at all, but I have to get new tires.
No.
I just had to do that.
I do.
How the kid's taking it.
I haven't told him yet.
Yeah.
Did the tires go to hospice?
No, it was sudden.
Oh gosh, they didn't get to go out on their own terms.
It's really hard.
I'm sorry, Kelley.
Yeah,
it's really hard on the kids when the tires.
But you got a little Civic, and those are cheap.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be my son's. I'll be getting a new car soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to send the kid to college on a donut? Like, sorry about your life, kid.
Well, that's why I have to get new tires.
I brought you in this world.
And I'm going to indirectly take you.
This car would take you out.
Well, there was this interesting thing. And mom has left us this house, but we have to stay there overnight, and it's haunted. Otherwise, we can't inherit it. So I thought that was something that we could try to do together.
Yeah.
But it's haunted by really nice spirits.
Yeah.
My mom's brother, called her devious.
She was a devious little
She
child.
was sometimes very devious.
That was great, by the way. Yeah, it was really sweet.
My Uncle Shannon. Love that guy.
Yeah.
So, anything fun for the top of the show?
From around the world? International news?
Oh, no, that's not fun either.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I don't ever get political.
Oh, dear.
But I smell a butt.
This isn't really political.
I get nervous.
This is just some advice to everyone on social media. Let's stop giving any attention to incels.
Oh,
everyone keeps getting outraged and posting their goofy blogs. No one cares about them. They're just a little group of weirdos. And if we don't keep expressing all this crazy outrage at every stupid, insane thing they say, they're only talking to each other. They're not a power, everyone. Realize this.
Yeah.
Yes, the things they say are insane, but it's obvious. So why are we getting so worked up about it? It's good that they're talking. We know where they are.
Can we point and laugh?
Sure.
Because one of my favorite subreddits, other than Trashy, is...
I love Trashy Boners.
Trashy. Oh, well.
Trashy Boners?
I've never been there.
Our Trashy Boners.
What the hell
I just
is
like
that?
our Trashy.
It's it's sort of like, as if it was Trashy NSFW.
Oh, okay.
It's just sometimes sexy.
Is it just gross pictures of genitalia?
No.
Oh.
No, it's like, let me give you an
it's
example.
when they're toddlers in the room with them.
No, it's like...
That's what I thought when you said trashy boner. It's like a gross dick or something.
I don't know, like a picture of, and just as an example, like a girl at
she's wearing Confederate flag underwear.
Yeah, exactly like that. She's super hot, but she's got a Confederate flag bikini on at a family barbecue and one tit's hanging out. It's hot, but it's trashy.
Is it trashy lady boners?
No, No, that's dudes.
Okay, trashy boners.
Yeah.
But my other favorite subreddit is Insane People Facebook.
I don't know. I won't have to check it out.
And it's sort of those things that you're talking about, but we're all just laughing at it.
That's good. Then that's
like
okay.
the flat earthers.
Wait, I found trash boners.
Not here.
But there's no pictures in there.
You have to get your...
Okay, the problem is there's too many damn groups on Reddit.
Is it one word, trashy boners?
I'm going to show you.
You have to make sure your account is NSFW, Freddy, or you can't access it.
Oh, yeah, that probably is it. You have
That's
to,
what
and you have to do it
probably
from
You have to do it on the
desktop.
What?
I know.
But real quick, listeners, listen to me show.
Listen to me show.
Ready. Here's trashy boners.
Why do I feel so innocent right now?
But Insane People Facebook is where we make fun of the incels, the flat earthers, the Trumpies.
How big of a group are the
Anti-vaxxers.
incels?
Not that
They're
big.
not.
Yeah, is it because they just get a lot of attention?
Yes,
Yeah.
the media is like
Okay.
clickbait things are shoving tons of incel blogs and goofy shit, and they're just crazy.
They're getting attention because a couple of them have killed people.
Yeah, but
So.
but they're not like. Let's stop worrying about what they're doing.
Yeah.
We know where they are. We can see them.
I mean, are these the same as the men's right movement people?
Yes,
Sort of, yeah.
Except even maybe more so.
Incel means involuntarily celibate.
They just think that it's.
I think women owe them sex.
I'm an incel, but not without. I'm without the violence.
Andy, you're ridiculous.
You could get laid anytime you
Yeah.
want.
It's true.
These are just dudes.
These are dudes I could not.
because
There's one called Trashy Flaccid Penis.
Don't go there.
Why not?
So okay, these incels.
Oh no!
She told you. Whoops.
That guy's leaking.
Yeah.
All right, put it away.
He looks like a fat Elvis impersonator.
You can
Like a fatter than normal fat
No,
Elvis
maybe
impersonator.
I'll link that somewhere, Freddy.
He's got a leaky. It's like Embarrassing Bodies.
He's
when
got
the
a
guy
leaky
had,
cauldron.
What was it called? The what kind of penis? Obstructed or
Hidden.
hidden
Oh, is that
penis?
the one? The guy who
Buried
lost,
penis.
Buried penis.
He lost
that's
all the
what it was.
weight and has got like a
Yeah.
giant.
An apron.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just a lot of people
Mike is not having this.
a lot of people get very angry about incels, and
Yeah.
I get it, but let's understand.
Stop giving them power.
Stop giving them anything. Yeah, point and laugh for
Yeah.
sure. And this is the problem for me. I used to wish that I could find them because I don't have people like this on my Facebook at all. So I don't really have a way to yell at them. And then I was like, why? Why yell at them? They're crazy.
Okay, but aren't these? I'm sure you probably know some incels, but they're like undercover, right?
I don't know anything.
Nobody
they
like
are.
do they-
Incels are never undercover.
They're not going to ever identify as an incel or like show their face on Facebook, are they?
No, they
do.
The
They-
one guy that got wasn't the guy that killed the people in Santa Monica because he was doing YouTube videos
Yeah.
where
They-
he was basically
Santa
going on
somewhere.
about like
Yeah.
how
Oh, no,
San Diego
they're
or wherever.
very vocal.
women were super stupid for not being in them.
I know
Yeah, that guy
they're
was
vocal, but are
scary.
they being themselves? Like, hi, I'm
I
Brian
think-
Johnson. I'm an incel.
They're taking pride in
Yeah, I think
being
so.
undesirable.
There was recently an interview with a lady who coined the term
Yeah.
and who did it as like a social experiment. She was like a professor.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. I think it was on maybe The Daily or something, or This American Life, one of those. And like originally, it was just a support group for people who couldn't get laid, essentially.
Yeah.
And then it kind of turned into this more of a political movement.
Yeah.
And now she has like all these regrets and is trying to kind of reclaim it and turn it back around.
Like the Purge, first Purge.
Oopsie poopsie.
But it is definitely point laugh at them. My girl Slide made a real hardcore but funny poke at an incel who's running for Congress.
Oh, the guy who
Yeah.
admitted to be a pedophile too, right?
Yeah, and everyone is like they were losing their shit, and it's like, what?
He's trolling us.
Nothing's gonna happen. He's not gonna make any laws. No one's gonna pass a father-daughter fuck law, like because he says so. It's cool. Just let him be. When he actually does something, we know where he is.
You know, I sort of feel that way.
At least he's dreaming big.
Good for him.
yeah,
good
he's
for
dreaming
him.
real big.
I sort of feel that way about people who are like retweeting Donald Trump and like yelling at him.
I
It's
feel
like,
the same way about that too.
Stop giving him any power.
Yeah. Well, my thing about Donald Trump,
He's got enough.
I can't believe how political I am today.
Mm-hmm.
I have never a lot of people like to, and this is I feel a little the opposite about incels because I do feel like let's laugh about incels because they're ridiculous, but I have trouble finding any of the stupid stuff that Trump says funny.
Mm-hmm.
I never find it funny. Like when someone like retweets some goofy stupid thing he says, they're like, look how stupid he is. Yeah, he is stupid. He's also in charge of the country.
Yeah.
This isn't funny. To me, it can be funny.
No, it's not funny. But if he wouldn't, well, then maybe if he didn't get attention, what worse things would he do? I don't know.
It's hard to say.
But,
Did anybody see the? I don't know if this is old news now, but the Donald Trump and the Disney Hall of Presidents, that allegedly none of the presidents ever look the same direction as Donald Trump. Like
they won't look at him.
you
or
can
something?
do like a visual eye line, and whenever Donald Trump looks one way, all of the other presidents will look the other way.
Ooh.
It's a little like
I
when you
like
talk
that.
about like retweeting and giving something power and feeling.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice when people who are smart remember just to be smart.
Yeah.
Smart will show everything
Some undercover
for what it
shade
is.
there.
I will never go in there ever again.
Even if
Donald
you get to
Trump
see a Disney
fucked up a part
Imagineer
of Disney for you.
shade,
He did.
shade the. I mean,
I thought the fucking Hall of Presidents is goddamn amazing.
How angry does that make you? That
Very.
Donald Trump fucked up a part of Disney for you.
Yeah. And you go in there and it's this magical thing where all these presidents are up there and they move like people. They tap their toes. They fidget. Abraham Lincoln fucking stands up and talks to you. It's beautiful.
inspiring.
It's something. And I can never do that ever again. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Okay, can you do it when he is
You're gonna have to give me a
out
rule
of
book.
office at least?
No, because he's going to be in there.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have that speaking part
That's
after
right.
when
he
he's
might. They might not leave him in. Who knows?
Wouldn't it be great
if he
if they
gets
just made
impeached.
all of his like dialogue like Charlie Brown like
Mhm.
teacher dialogue where he's just like wah, wah, wah,
I like the
wah.
part in the background where Bill Clinton pulls a cigar out of his jacket pocket and he sits and goes, "That's nice."
I started following Monica Lewinsky on Twitter, and it's great.
Yeah.
I like her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good for her. Yeah, he fucked up Disney, but that's okay.
I always thought she was real attractive.
She's she's fantastic.
I got it.
She's cute.
Are we going to talk about Anthony Bourdain?
Yeah, I loved Anthony Bourdain, and that really was some shit news to hear.
Every
Long
time I
short.
order my steak, I have such guilt because of him.
Yeah.
Because I read his book, and he was like, "Fuck you for wanting a well done
Well,
steak."
you heard about like in his last few years, he's been speaking out against the attitude that he kind of portrayed in Kitchen Confidential,
Yeah.
and saying that toxic masculinity has destroyed the restaurant business, and it's been like hard for women to work in kitchens, and he was part of it, and he was kind of doing an apology tour.
He's been great for
That's
the Me
nice,
Too
'cause
movement. And
That's kind of what turned me off about him. His
Yeah.
arrogance and his smarminess.
Yeah, me too.
I loved him. I mean, I was a huge fan of his books, even when he was arrogant and smarmy.
Well, here's the thing. I never. I don't want to sound like a posthumous dick. I never was into Anthony Bourdain. I liked him fine. I would watch him judge things on Food Network, you know, from time to time, or see him on things, and I liked him okay, you know. But I also thought he was also kind of an asshole.
Mhm.
So I didn't really have any feelings for him one way or the other. But
He
I
kind
know
of was,
a lot of
but he
people
was like
were real
our kind
sad.
of asshole.
No, I didn't hate it. Like
You know what I mean?
that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like I never was like, ugh, this
Yeah.
dude. Like I got his shtick,
Yeah.
kind of.
He talked about food the way we talk about movies.
Yeah, I just there was a part of me that also was just like, I don't know if we could really be friends.
Yeah, I always got the feeling
You'll never
like-
have the chance now, Kelly.
Yeah, I know.
I always got. I don't want to speak ill of Dead, but I always got the feeling that if I hung out with him, he'd be like too cool for school, and he wouldn't hang out with me.
I think that was just the opposite.
And I think you're probably right actually about that. That was like I said, I didn't dislike him. I just wasn't into that a lot. You
Yeah.
know.
I didn't really know much about him or anything, but I did. I'm not on Facebook, so I haven't seen a lot of the posts that have come up. But on Instagram, I was seeing a lot of people posting like suicide hotline numbers and making sure you reach out. And I think that's a really, I know we're leaving the month of Mental Health Awareness Month, but I think it's a really important thing just to remember.
Oh, not just him, it was Kate Spade too.
Kate Spade,
just to remember there are
I
people.
have one of her her husband's bags.
Oh,
Her
David
husband
Spade?
designed bags too.
He had like a
made a
man's
joke.
line.
David
Yeah.
Spade.
David Spade.
David Spade is actually her brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Jack Spade is David's brother, and Jack Spade had like a men's line of bags and stuff like
I
that.
kind of do remember Jack Spade stuff. Did they sell that? I feel like I remember seeing.
I mean, it's not like
Do you have it in spades?
cheap. Yeah, I have
But
so
it's
many
like-
of them.
Just to say real quickly, just because it's kind of my platform, just so all of our listeners know that if you're going out there, you're struggling with anything, that you are loved, and there are people right here in this room who care. So make sure you reach out. Just if you're feeling that alone, because that's the one way that suicide gets you, is when you completely cut yourself off. So
That's how they get you.
hopefully you you take a second to breathe and reconnect, and we'll certainly put you in touch with someone you can reconnect with. So.
Agreed. One last thing about Anthony Bourdain. I did really enjoy his WTF.
Oh, I didn't know he was on. I don't think I've heard that one.
He did that, right?
Probably.
I thought I
Hasn't
listened
everybody
to it.
done WTF?
Yeah, I thought
I
it was
did,
years
just
and years
last week.
ago.
Yeah, yours was good, Amy.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure. Super
So-
smart. Well,
My
if it wasn't
platform
that,
of
then I listened to him on
X-Files and
something
Dissolve.
else.
Yeah. And you were saying, I think everybody in this room has been touched by suicide at some point. And, that's something you don't realize, like, how people. I like that it brought people out of the woodwork on social media who have had that in their lives. So, like, it's nice to talk about that because you can realize, hey, this is like a disease.
It's a problem.
Everybody.
And I read actually, and I don't know how accurate this is, but I was reading something that said that it was actually pretty high up on the most common causes of death for like men. At least the statistic in that article was about like causes of death for men, and that was like high up on the list.
Yeah.
Especially like adolescence, when you don't realize that your body's chemical changes may be the reason why you think life is so awful and horrible,
Yeah.
unbearable.
And with heroin in particular, you don't even know what a suicide is necessarily unless someone leaves a note.
Right.
And sometimes that's what you piece together after the fact is you're like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. This was the last high for that person.
Right. Deliberately.
And people who have guns in the home and stuff. Like there's those, when you have access to something that's like instantly irreversible, then like that all it takes is being in that moment, having the thought, and it's done.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people have a moment. I know probably everybody in this room has had a moment at least.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes that is what like keeps you, is like, you're like, well, I'm not going to do it with a knife, and I'm not going to do it with aspirin.
Right.
Right.
You don't want to screw up and leave. Like I had a friend.
You don't want to
growing
leave a
up,
gross body.
She jumped off a bridge, trying to commit suicide. She was gay, and I think she was having a lot of trouble coping with that. And she jumped off a bridge, and then the rest of her life, she's passed since, but she was in a wheelchair, and it just really destroyed her physically.
Yeah.
And she didn't try again to commit suicide after that, even though her life was exponentially worse.
Yeah.
But just trying and failing even was just so awful. And then her brother, we lost him last year, not long before we lost my dad. He was one of my best friends growing up, and then another one of my friends growing up, and we think these were deliberate heroin overdoses.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're thinking about it, like Mike was saying, I think that's something really, honestly, I mean, don't wait, like reach out. It feels like, it's so hard to reach out and talk to somebody, but just get the ball rolling. It's like ripping a Band-Aid off.
As somebody who's gone through depression and who had a couple of suicide attempts when I was younger, it's easier to talk to a stranger about it. So call a suicide hotline. Go to NAMI.org. They have a lot of resources. There's a lot you can do, man.
Even just getting like YouTube and going to like resources, like there are great videos out there that'll just kind of help you realize that there are people who right now that you respect and that you like that have gone through those same exact thoughts, or may even be going through those thoughts concurrently, or dealing with that. And I think that's where suicide unfortunately gets to get its little demon grips into you, is when you think you're the only one. And so just wanted to make sure everybody out there listening to this here knows that you're not the only one.
Exactly.
Everybody in this room has been touched by it or had those thoughts. So just remember you're not alone, and reach out, because there's a lot of love out there. You just need to be able to see it.
At the very least, message a Facebook friend of a Facebook friend that you don't know at all.
Yeah.
And just tell them. They have no
Okay.
choice. They're going to get that message no matter what happens.
Yeah. Unless it's
Unless
me,
they
and I
ignore
never
their messages
I
like
never
Amy.
check.
Well, they might
Messenger.
ignore it,
Yeah.
but you sent it.
Yep.
And that
I was
means
trying
something.
to lighten it. And
You tried.
It just
Try
sounded
not to
like-
spiral
sounded
if
like
the
I
little
was being
face
serious
pops
there.
up that
I
they read
know.
it and they never reply.
Except if you're an incel, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you can go ahead and kill yourself. Just kidding. You can change.
Oh, I'm not kidding. But
If you're an incel, be the best incel.
No, okay,
you
here's
can
the
be.
thing.
Oh,
There are
dear.
some people that the world would be better off without. I mean,
Mhm.
so I'm just saying.
I can think of
Well, maybe
5.
those people. if you want to think about a reason for everyone being alive.
Yeah, I know it's like very callous of me to say, but Donald Trump, go fuck yourself and
Think of it like
die.
this.
Well, that's okay. You're allowed
Maybe
to
Donald
feel that way.
Trump will turn out to be food for a giant like anaconda that has heretofore been undiscovered.
But Kelly anacondas don't eat people.
And it, but this one does.
But what if that anaconda don't want none?
Well, if you don't got buns, hun.
You
These
made me
setups are
imagine
setups.
Donald Trump on a
And,
giant
uh,
roll.
Just so I can, just for 10 more seconds, then I'm done with it. Also realize on the flip side of that, if you've got some joy in your heart and you know that those moments do pass, so if you got some joy and some kindness in your heart, just give a nice smile, give a little bit of comfort and warmth. I think that's one thing that I don't know if we always recognize how much just a nice smile or a gentle sentiment or just looking somebody directly in the eyes and having a human moment. You have those human moments with somebody that you don't even know that you can turn their entire day around. It doesn't cost you anything to just be a good human being and just cast a little kindness on people. Makes the world a little bit better place to live in for all of us. So
It's chaos.
That's
Be
all I got to say.
kind.
Right. Do you guys want to talk about giant worms eating people?
Yeah, I thought we were going to lighten it up
Er.
and talk about Hereditary
Yeah.
a little bit later.
Well,
so
well,
be ready
later
for
on,
that.
yeah.
Andy, you have a big job ahead of you.
A big
Huge.
job.
Huge.
It's the biggest job.
It's bigly.
Bigly.
Andy's about to lay a big job on you.
It's gonna be the best review ever.
It's beautiful. It was a beautiful review.
Don't
Fit.
forget
Fit. I like that word.
Yeah.
patreon.com/NOTLP. And then, of course, Whorehound Weekend is coming up in August. So if you want to come to that, get your ass in gear.
Kelly, where are you gonna be?
I'm not
I knew you were gonna bring that up because every time we bring it up,
I'm
so,
not going to be there, so why would you even go?
so why even have it?
Yeah. I mean, not. So I realize the disappointment that a lot of you are going to feel.
Yeah, it's on the Whorehound website. There's a big picture of Kelly. It says
Will not be
canceled.
attending.
It's a circle slash
Yeah,
on my
like,
face.
It's bad because Nathan's been inundated with like refund
Yeah, people
requests.
are
Yeah, because
trying to get out of it. But-
I'm single-handedly taking down Whorehound Weekend.
You know what you can do in Knoxville coming up at the end of the month? I might skip my niece's wedding for this. At the
Days of the Dead?
at the Fanboy Expo in Knoxville, Tennessee, three of the Backstreet Boys will be there.
Which
AJ?
ones? First of all,
Inky, Binky, and Boo.
AJ, I think AJ,
Carl?
Kevin, and Brian.
oh, eyebrows, huh?
Shemp
Misha?
Misha?
and Harpo.
Harpo,
Greaves?
Harpo, who this woman?
Telluride?
So anyway, Kelly, you could get your rocks off at that if you wanted.
Nice.
I just saw that on Facebook and it blew
Well,
my
now that you told me that
ever-loving
the
mind.
Backstreet Boys are going to be there.
But did we meant the same weekend as Whorehound Weekend? The Strangers 2 screening
I know,
is
yeah.
going to be at the pool. That
Where they filmed
filming
the pool
location.
scene. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wish we could do both, but
and Damien's going to be there.
I know. I was talking to him about it, and we were figuring out like how far apart we were. It's like
Too
2.5 hour drive. I said I don't think that's gonna work. I don't
But
think
the
I can make it.
people need to see you, Freddie. You're such
I know.
an integral part of that
I
scene.
know. I'm so like me and Andy and Mike are so important to that movie. Oh my god,
They're the linchpins
that's
of
out
the,
on
of the twist.
VOD.
Ooh, I wonder if there's an extended cut
Ooh, with more of us in
with
it.
more of us.
That's going to be the part where somebody's yelling at us.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
It's just a long shot of you guys pretending to eat, just going,
This is terrible. When do we get soft serve?
Like,
Never.
We did never get ours. We need to go back there.
We do.
They owe us soft serve.
we should ask for fake salt for our fake food.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was so much fun, though.
It was super fun.
That
what
was
an experience.
One of my highlights in this stupid life I have.
was it Fisher Price fake
Amazing
food?
life.
It was.
Was
Basically,
it? No,
yeah.
it was pretty realistic looking.
Aw.
But the Brussels sprouts were all connected together, so I remember obsessing for the 2 hours we were sitting there. Like, if I try to look like I'm eating it,
Mike took fake bites out of his burger
But
and
here's the
everything.
thing.
They didn't use any of that.
I
but
got
in the extended cut, when she's walking around the glass door, you'll see it if it's in there.
I got beans, and you just see me like just pulling the fork up to my mouth constantly. It's
CU is a little extreme.
That guy loves beans.
But it's like he's not picking anything up. He's just putting a spoon in his mouth.
Well, is that where we got in trouble? Because we were debating on whether or not we should actually pick up the whole food.
It would have been pretty funny if you'd have just picked up the chunk of sprouts with your hand and just like shoved it against your face.
No, we got in trouble because somebody was talking to us.
It's Always Sunny.
They weren't supposed to.
It wasn't our fault. It was like being in school again, where somebody ropes you into a conversation when you should be listening to the teacher.
You're telling them to shut up and you get in trouble.
Yeah, basically.
That's what happened.
One last thing, food related before we go. If you have a smash burger near you,
Come on and smash it.
highly recommended.
There's one in the airport, and you know something?
Best fast food
They
burger
almost
I've
made
ever
me
had.
miss my flight.
That's true.
Best fast food burger I ever had. I go out. There's one out by Elise's
There's one in Blue
work,
Ash, yeah.
and I go out there probably a couple times a week
Yeah.
with her to enjoy smash burger with her. You can get 2 patties.
I prefer Five Guys.
I like smash burgers.
Okay, smash
so
burgers.
much
Are they
better than Five Guys.
Are they thin like Steak and Shakes, or thicker like Five Guys?
They're thin. They're like they're kind of like Wendy's, but the patties are like real big.
We had Smash Burger in
much-
Vegas, babe.
Much bigger than Steak
Yeah.
and Shakes burgers.
Well, let me tell you though, you can't say, "Hey, Amy, could you do Five Guys tonight?" when you're
That's
talking
true.
about Smash Burger.
But you could say, "Hey, Amy, do you want to smash?
That's good. Do you want to smash or do Five Guys tonight?
You want to smash this burger? Your penis."
And Freddie's the first person to ever make that Five Guys joke ever.
Well, we
All right, that's the last one.
yeah.
No more songs.
Well, we
So never again.
discovered it
There it is.
organically one night. I said, "Do you want to go to the Mexican restaurant or Five Guys?" She said, "I could do Five Guys."
You're like, "Yeah, you could."
I'm such a
Just like Beverly Marsh.
Okay. Did you see that
Sallow.
they cast the Old Spice,
Spice
guy
guy,
as
yeah.
Mike Hanlon?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Is that consistent with the book?
What do you mean?
Is the Old Spice guy like buff now?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll
They
hide
didn't
it.
really say one way or another. I mean,
Mike
he's
was just
old in
an
the book.
older
Oh, yeah.
librarian,
Mhm.
so probably not super buff. But I don't imagine
Buff,
he'll have
but
his
with
shirt off. a
glasses.
bunch. Yeah.
Do you think when he walks on screen, he's going to turn and go?
Yep.
Oh, I hope so.
And then
Listeners can't see my face.
He's gonna ride in on a unicorn and fight Pennywise.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the odds on that as very unlikely.
and then Bruce Campbell's going to show up,
Mm,
sing "Hungry Like the Wolf,"
mhm.
Okay.
and other commercials.
All right, guys.
If that happens, Kelly, I'll suck your dick.
I'm counting on it.
Because the
You
odds,
said it.
because the odds of that happening are slim to none.
Everybody heard it. Remember,
Great. You ready to move on?
Yes.
please.
you heard it.
You heard it here first. All right.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette.
All right, Andy, give it to us straight
He can't.
if you can.
It's Pride Month, Amy. You gotta be nice to
Give
me.
it to us gay.
Oh my god, this movie, guys.
Oh my God.
Tremors 6. Is that gay enough for you?
That's almost
That's more
Me.
like
Paris
Is that-
Hilton.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
more
it's like-
Paris
yeah.
Hilton.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the name of gay voice?
Backwoods gay voice. Hey there.
Well, you can be
What is gay voice again?
be like a southern, like
Yeah. Do Leslie Jordan.
Tremors.
Jordan.
Tremors 6. It's good.
Hi guys, I'm gay.
Andy,
There
I
you go.
clocked you 50 years ago.
I'm bad
Before
at
you were born.
accents.
I'm reviewing this movie gay. Deal with it.
When you were sprinkly,
Twinkly.
sparkling, twinkle in your bobby's eye.
I'm like tone deaf with accents. I can't hear what I'm saying out loud.
I gotcha.
Come on, Queen.
Oh, Tremors, Cold Day in Hell, right?
Yes.
You watched it.
Yeah.
Yes, Queen.
That sounds right.
Okay, I admit that I went into this movie not giving the respect it deserves, like all movies deserve, which is my attention.
Ah.
Because it's one of those movies you see,
He
like,
turned
oh,
it on and went to sleep.
like Tremors 6, you expect it, like, oh, this is going to be so stupid. Why even pay attention? Why waste my time? And I admit I did not. All movies deserve respect, regardless of like, going in blindly. They all deserve respect.
All of them.
Yeah.
I disagree, but go ahead.
Okay, movies deserve respect to a certain extent. Movies that you're about to review deserve respect.
Okay, that
until you see them.
They deserve your objectivity.
Not Star Wars movies that star minority women. Okay, they do not deserve anybody's respect.
Go back home, incel. Right back to your home.
Yeah, if you like,
that was a joke. If
you're one of them people that put
You're a monster.
like horrible stuff on Kelly Marie Tran's Instagram page,
eat a fucking bag of
Kill
rotted
yourself.
dicks.
I'm not talking to nerds about Star Wars anymore.
No.
Like I'm just not. I'll talk to my friends about Star Wars. I will not talk to nerd. I won't try to convince them. Fuck you guys.
And you know what? The people that are like reveling in Solo's disappointment at the box office, you can fuck yourself too.
And plus, it still made money. It wasn't like
it just didn't meet projections.
Yeah, and it's a great movie. So, but I'm not going to argue with nerds about it.
But they're like celebrating it, and they're like, "Yeah, this is like
look what we do."
Yeah.
Probably a lot of them are incels.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, I admit I did not pay attention to this movie as much as I should have, which is most movies I get for Russian Roulette.
Is that why you kept changing the subject to
I
Star
admit,
Wars
I
and
did
stuff?
not watch this movie.
I did watch it, but I was on my phone most of the time.
So Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell. Have you guys been watching the news?
Okay,
what do you got?
You just review Solo instead.
This one takes place in the tundra.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a cold place. I know that.
Isn't it Antarctica?
Somewhere cold.
Okay.
Canada, I believe.
Siberia?
Canada.
Yeah,
I thought it was Antarctica.
In the beginning, there's snow and stuff. So, so it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But
how great would it be Wampas versus Graboids?
Oh my god.
But they did this budgetary thing where they film in the desert, but just put like a blue filter over it to make it look like snow.
Yeah. The Last Jedi.
I thought Jamie
It is
Kennedy
Canada.
smelled bad.
Yeah.
It's in Nunavut territory in Canada.
So I did not know that there was so much backstory and mythology to the Tremors movies and stuff.
I don't
has
know
a huge
either.
cult following.
I had no idea that there are other types of Tremors. I mean, graboids.
Yeah, there's the walking ones.
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen the first one.
The walking ones.
See anything beyond that?
They kind of look like mini corn dogs with legs.
And then there's those
Oh,
ones,
it's kinda cute.
those graboids that use butterfly knives.
Oh, they're real
But
bad
first they
ones.
try to intimidate you by flipping them around a lot.
They got some cigarettes rolled up in their
in their graboid
yeah.
sleeve.
There's white collar graboids. Who embezzle from you.
Yeah, there's the embezzling graboids.
They call older men pops.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy-o.
Hey, Daddy-o.
That's a roll. Get the white walls.
They do it for Johnny.
Yeah. Anyway, and there's something called ass blasters that fly.
They called them ass blasters?
Yeah, that's the name of these flying tremors. I mean, graboids. They're not tremors. They're called graboids.
Yeah, it's kind of like calling the shark in Jaws, you know?
Yeah, or the
acceptable.
Frankenstein the monster.
Yeah.
What else are you supposed to call the
there's the
shark in
Tremors.
Jaws?
Bruce.
Oh, run away. There's the Tremors.
But you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
The tremors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's flying ones. I did not know that. Apparently they evolve into the big slimy ones.
Oh, so they're like larvae? It's like a pupal
Something
stage?
like that. I don't know. And I've come to the conclusion that I'm on the side of the tremors. Because
You also want to eat Michael Gross alive?
Because Kelly knows this. I root for rare animals, old
does.
animals, giant animals.
Yeah.
These are rare creatures.
Did
and
you root for Cloverfield?
That's different because it's an alien.
I would be so mad at you.
I don't root for aliens.
Only domestic monsters?
None of those
taking our
illegal
jobs.
monsters.
We got to build a wall around our planet.
An undocumented monster.
They're taking our human killing jobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I root for the tremors. Like, I mean, obviously when I was a kid, I was like rooting for the humans because I was like a kid and they're scary. But I'm always on the side of animal attacks in movies. Maybe it's because I don't value human life very much. But
Actually, let me tell you, Elise had a very when we watched the trailer for Meg, and there's that part where like somebody's like, "We got to kill it." And she
no,
was
don't
like,
kill Meg.
That's what she said. She was like, "Why would you kill it? That's an amazing discovery. You're gonna kill this thing that lives just because it's
Exactly.
what?"
Like I tell Kelly this all the time. Like you see those headlines where like some person like shoots a crocodile that's like 30 feet long.
Yeah.
Leave that crocodile alone. It's a rare creature, and it's how many years old to get to that age.
Even if it's eating people.
I'm sorry about
you're
your
where
kid,
it lives.
but you're in its house.
Yeah, leave those tremors alone. Anyway, Michael Gross is back, and we get to see his butt.
Ooh.
Is it Michael Gross?
Go.
Does he have
Do
a
you think
Michael
it's
Gross
really
butt?
his butt?
It's his butt.
It is, yeah.
It's chalk white. I mean, you're not surprised, right?
Right.
Does he have like a Alex P. Keaton tattoo on it?
Yep.
Yeah. I couldn't think of the guy's name.
Michael J. Fox.
Thank you.
All right, so he's alive, but you see his butt.
There's nothing to really tell about this.
Yeah.
Like, it's a Tremors movie.
It's just an adventure.
What does
Yeah.
Jamie Kennedy do?
Oh yeah, he's in this.
Yeah.
Anything you give him, pretty much.
Does he just run around talking about other scary movies?
Well, he gets out of bed and just starts shouting. That's what he looks like in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because his character is supposed to be like this rough-looking character, but I think Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie
Kennedy.
Carrot Top.
It looks like he's living a hard and fast life.
Well, remember when we saw him at Horror Hound?
Yeah.
Ooh.
He looked pretty good.
He read my
I
poem.
thought. Yeah.
He did.
He looked okay.
But good for him for
you know?
getting work and stuff, and good for Michael Gross for keeping the Tremors legacy going.
Yeah, he's not turned his back on it.
Yeah.
His backside, though.
Oh.
But Michael Gross, it's just a lot. This movie gave me a headache from what little attention I paid to it. Just because it's so loud and Michael Gross shouts every single line.
Did you guys ever hope that in the 80s, that when they were done with Growing Pains and
Family
Ties, that Alan Thicke and Michael Gross got together and made a show called Thick and Gross?
Yeah. I do now. They can still do that. They could do a podcast together.
Yeah. Well, Alan Thicke died.
Did he die?
Yeah.
He did die.
Oh.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
last year. Yeah.
Can they...
No.
No.
Can Paul F. Tompkins reprise his Comedy
Yeah.
Bang Bang role as Alan Thicke?
Oh, did he do Alan Thicke?
Wonderfully.
Like Maggie.
Several times. He was just... If you don't mind me, TM Comedy Bang Bang, but he was just like... I did write the... I can't do it. You have to listen to... Just Google it.
Google it.
It's good.
Thick and Gross.
So how are the effects? That's what interests me in a monster
Yeah.
movie. How are the effects?
I mean, I think they have practical effects for the Tremors.
Oh.
Close-up ones, at least.
Do they look good? You don't know?
No, the CGI was pretty... the ass blasters, the flying ones.
Yeah.
You don't see, but I'm doing the arm flappy motions.
He is. He is.
It wasn't good?
Uh,
CGI?
No.
No.
I guess the character design's okay for the ass blasters. I've never seen one.
Sure.
Obviously.
I believe that.
in the wild, at least.
If you believe that, Andy also has a bridge in New York he'd like to sell you.
It's okay. Like Tremors design.
Yeah.
And they look different than the desert ones, because I guess these are different species because of the cold ones.
Mm-hmm.
Arctic. The cold ones.
Arctic Tremors.
Yeah, and at one point,
That's my new band name.
I think this was a kind of a slap at Donald Trump. You know, the Tremors mouth. They got those three little things that come out, the snaky thingies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of them grabs a lady by the pussy.
Oh, yeah, I'm
and
sure you're right.
pulls her away. So I feel that was
He
a
is very
very
snake-like.
pointed slap at Donald Trump. So I
You're
appreciate
right.
that.
Good for them.
Yeah, and she dies. Which is what happens when Donald
You get
Trump
your-
Was it Ann
grabs-
Coulter?
Was it Ann Coulter?
So we should call this month Ann Coulter.
Ann Coulter month.
What's she
Yeah.
doing these days?
Who
She's still
cares?
alive?
Being a horrible person.
I'm just
That's what
wondering.
she-
Yeah,
That's how
she's
old
still
my
alive.
that's how old my most of my political references are. I'm like Ann Coulter, right? Welcome to 2002.
Yeah, and one of the characters, they're the daughter of the Kevin Bacon character from the first one.
Yeah.
So I like that little through line throughout the movie.
I'm still so pissed off at Sci-Fi for passing on the Tremors show
Oh, yeah.
with Kevin Bacon. I don't feel like anyone is like mad enough about this. Kevin Bacon
I know.
Mhm.
and not Burt Ward, that's Robin. Fred Ward from the original. You're going to do a show on Sci-Fi, a Tremors show,
Well, the good news is that
a direct sequel to the original.
when they canceled that, Thick and Gross picked up Bacon, so now it's Thick, Gross, Bacon.
Oh, good. Good. I feel a little better. Maybe they can do like a radio drama of it.
Yeah,
They can just do a table read.
they should.
Maybe can they get H. John Benjamin to voice the Graboids?
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He should voice it.
So, do you recommend this movie, Andy?
If you want to see Michael Gross's butt,
Oh, I do.
I should give the timestamp of when you see
You
it.
should.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm always
all I need.
interested in anyone's butt.
but it's like, it's a throwaway monster movie.
Yeah.
It's very like sci-fi, like level of quality.
Yeah, but I love that shit.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm in. But I want to go back and watch. I've only ever seen a little bit of the first one.
But the thing was, like, I was lost during the movie, not because I was not paying attention. It's because I didn't know all
You
the
sure?
mythology.
They didn't have a previously on Tremors.
Do you guys remember, was Reba in the first one
Yeah.
or just in the
Yes.
second? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. It's been a long time.
I just I rewatched. Well, I mean, I watched that movie probably once every couple of years, and we just recently rewatched it. It's so fucking good. Such an it's just such a great quality monster movie.
Super fun too.
Yeah, it really is.
I have to
Gross,
queef.
thick bacon featuring Reba
Did you say you have to
McEntire.
queef?
No, I have to keep.
Go ahead, do it.
I have to keep like shaking Elsa so she stops
Oh.
snoring. The dog
Yeah,
is
she's
really
passed
into the
out.
show.
She's just laying on the floor at
loud.
Amy's feet.
Yeah.
What a cute girl.
Millie's on the other side. All right, great. Thank you,
on
Andy.
the other side. Elsie's on the right. Here I am, not queefing.
What are you gonna do? You know?
Maquifa?
Did
Movie
you say I
guide.
got a queef? Did you think in your heart of hearts that she would actually say that on air?
The reason I said
Man,
that
I got a
because
queef.
that really is what I heard. Like genuinely, like, and I was shocked by it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
You thought I was fancier.
I was like, I have to ask about this.
Yeah.
You think Amy had a mental break and just said, I got a queef?
I certainly wanted to know what the origin of that thought that she verbalized was.
It's like, this is not like her at all. Amy,
I was like, even if she thought she had to queef, why would she say it?
She's like Queefer Sutherland. She
Queef
queefed
Latifah?
24 times in real time.
Oh, that was good.
All right, so what we're gonna do? Let's see who's gonna watch the movie for the next show. Movie gun, movie bullet. I'm up first. Let's see if I die. I lived. Kelley,
It's not me. I'm doll baby.
you done lived. Freddie.
All right. What are you doing to me?
so the doll baby mask protects you from movie bullets.
Oh, wouldn't you like to know? Let me pull it up on my phone. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm a bad person. I did bad things.
That was the cutest. I'm doll baby.
I'm a double.
If it landed on me, I'd taken the mask off. The mask would have to do the review.
Yeah.
It's not going to be me. I'm doll baby.
So Freddie,
Uh huh.
you get to watch a movie. It's on Amazon Prime right now. It's called Across the River.
Through the woods.
The story revolves around an ethologist working in the remote.
An anthologist?
Ethologist. Studies animal behavior.
Oh, thank you.
Working in the remote
Smart.
woods. Whoops. Trapping animals and mounting cameras on them so that he can monitor their behavior remotely. The resulting recordings lead him to a remote village, the site of an ancient curse,
Is it Bigfoot?
where he is trapped due to heavy rainfall raising
And
the level
raisins. He's trapped by the California raisins
and flooding out
We
the
heard you
only
coming.
access
through the grapevine.
across the river and through the woods.
Is it Bigfoot?
I don't know. I haven't watched the movie.
I feel like you ask that question a lot.
Is it Bigfoot?
Is it Bigfoot?
Is it Bigfoot?
Even contextually, like away from like the answer.
Did you say you have to queef? Did you say it's Bigfoot?
All right, we'll be right
Was
back.
that a queef or was it Bigfoot?
Miles O'Queef. This week's main attraction just came out Friday. The directorial feature debut of writer-director Ari Aster.
Ari Aster.
Well,
I barely know her.
I knew it was
She
coming.
said it was Bigfoot.
Then she queefed.
So from IMDb,
I
when-
bet a Bigfoot queef would be disgusting.
Yeah, they
that'd be
already
bad.
smell
Be
bad.
real woodsy.
Super bad. When the matriarch of the Graham family passes away, her daughter's family begins to unravel cryptic and increasingly terrifying secrets about their ancestry. That's like the most spoiler-free way to talk about that movie is in those two sentences.
Oh, yeah. We should definitely. I know.
This will be a spoilery review.
Yeah.
Get out and watch it.
Get out and watch it.
So, but we will probably not get into the spoilers right away. So
well, just know that it could happen at any moment.
A spoiler could slip out.
Yeah, and you definitely want to see this one.
Yeah.
It could be just queefed out.
This I'll go ahead and say at the opening.
They will not be elusive like
It's
Bigfoot.
a spoiled queef.
It's turned. This is one of the best horror movies I think I've seen in a long time.
I really loved it.
Yeah.
I'm still digesting it.
Yeah. Little pieces of it are still coming out in your poop.
I'd say I give it like a B plus. A little too long.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think I get the same grade. I have the same thing with the problem with being it too long, but I think that's like a personal thing.
Yeah, it's just me.
Elise had the same feeling.
Any movie over 2 hours long gets a half letter grade off.
Unless it's Infinity War, and then it gets a half letter grade off for not being long enough.
And let me say, I think this is akin to like The Black Coat's Daughter, where the first time through it may feel longer than on a rewatch.
Fuck that movie.
I suspect this one.
Well, you definitely I think you need a second viewing, more than one viewing, to get all the little clues that they drop throughout the movie.
There was a lot of little things that I know, like I knew something was happening because I heard people go, "Oh, did you watch this?" And I didn't see anything, so like I knew that there were things I wasn't catching.
Was it that one scene where she was up in the?
No, I caught that.
Oh. It was interesting to watch this movie after what I've just been through because it's about a family.
I actually had that thought when we were sitting in there. I was like, "Ooh, I don't know." This
You
is a good time to watch this.
It came at the right time for me.
Good.
You start with an obituary of Toni Collette's mother, who had been in their home for a while under hospice care till she passed away, and you're almost like you're thrown right into the funeral, and then you get home and you kind of gather from what Toni Collette says and does that her and her mom weren't really that into each other. So she's like, I'm not sure I feel sad, and should I feel sadder, and that sort of thing.
Let me tell you, the script to this is amazing, and Toni Collette was so good.
She was.
Like, she, blew it out of the water. Her acting was... I bought everything she was selling 100%. Like, even just, teeny tiny facial expressions where it's just, it just feels so real. And so, the conflict...
Get on your mic, bitch.
I'll bring it to you, Mike. The conflict that she was feeling even at the funeral was so real, where she's like, I feel bad, but I don't feel as bad as I think I should feel, and I feel bad about not feeling as bad as I think I should feel. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. It was this real back and forth that she really made palpable and just real.
It was totally real, and there's a genuine everybody, I think, when they lose someone, you gauge what your reaction should be compared to what you see in movies and from other people. And that character is totally you're like, I get it. It doesn't make her unsympathetic at all that she's like, I'm going to go to the movies, and she's lying to her husband, and she is going out to this support group, doesn't want to tell him this for grieving people, survivors.
Right. She's very private because her mom was very private, and you get the feeling that she's also very private.
Yeah.
And she's this artist that makes miniature
scenes,
really
dioramas.
high detailed,
like the couple in Beetlejuice
diorama. Yeah, but even more so,
but way better.
Yeah,
way better.
Even more so, but very much like that.
Nice fucking model.
Honk honk.
And it's funny because Beetlejuice does show up in this movie. That's sort of an unofficial sequel.
We told you there's gonna be spoilers, guys.
This is the Beetlejuice remake everyone's been talking about.
They they took it in a real wild direction.
Yeah, that was great marketing because I didn't see that coming at all.
No, the marketing. Oh, go ahead. You say
no.
You had to say
no. I didn't. Not on this.
Oh, okay. The marketing was great because they really misdirect you.
Yeah. I had seeing the trailer, I had literally no idea what this movie was about.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be about a creepy child.
Now,
so this is where spoilers are going to start.
And here's
That's
a spoiler
how quickly we get there.
For everyone.
Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. You have time to get to your button now. Hit pause now. All right.
So I actually, when I saw the trailer, and I was going to ask you about this, I actually kind of had an idea of the direction this was going because it very much reminds me of Stephen King's Grandma. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, is this like a grandma thing? Or even like Lovecraft's The Thing on the Doorstep, both transfer of personality stories. But it really felt like that to me. Like in the trailer, as soon as they showed the grandma and the little girl, and they're like, burp, I'm like, oh.
In the title,
yeah,
insinuates that.
Did you pick up that at all? Did that, or does that resonate with you at all? Like it reminded
Now
you of
it
grandma?
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the short story itself, Grandma.
That's what I mean.
Not the movie, right?
Oh, I don't mean the movie.
Yeah, it did remind me somewhat of the short story.
Yeah.
This one, it felt a lot to me like a Kubrick movie, the way it was put together.
I thought Roman Polanski.
Or Polanski.
I think they were very hardcore.
Yeah.
going
I was
for
getting a lot of
Rosemary's
Rosemary's Baby,
Definitely.
especially one in the main actress. I don't know that. I know that you already spoke about Toni Collette. Being fantastic in this movie. I think much like Mia Farrow, I know not everybody at this table is a huge Rosemary's Baby fan. I'm not really a big fan, other than after initially watching.
Oh, you love rapist movies? Okay.
It does leave an impact on you.
I love that rapist movie.
That
1,000,000%.
That movie, I think, would not have been a great movie if it wasn't for Mia Farrow. Where I think this is the same with this
Definitely.
one. Is she can sell, like, in the hands of like a lesser trained actress or a lesser anybody, this could have been a real goofy, super goofy film.
Agreed. The acting elevated everything, and everyone did a really great job.
The other piece that really, where I got a lot of Rosemary's Baby vibe is the open of the film lets you know, like, she's talking about her mom passing, and like she says in front of everybody, there's not a lot of people that are there, but she says in front of the people that are there, me even talking to you guys about her feels like I'm committing, I think maybe she says a betrayal, because she's so super private. And then you realize, like, kind of in this film where, like, Rosemary's Baby did such a great job of, like, what is happening at these, like, parties and what, like, this.
Well,
like,
she even said during the eulogy, like, there's a lot of faces I don't recognize.
Yeah.
Right.
And, like, these people were part of her mother's life, and she has no idea. And you realize they were probably part of the cult that she was.
Well, later you definitely realize it because you see them.
And I had even, like, I don't know any, I'm sure it's probably on the internet by now already, but wondering about those grief, because she tells her husband she's going to these, going to the movies.
Right.
And then we're told that she's going to these grief groups.
You think she had Movie Pass?
I think she did have Movie Pass.
She must have had Movie Pass. She had Grief Pass, too.
Because she went out to the movies a lot.
You have to take a picture of your tear-soaked tissues after every time you go.
Yeah, you can only go to one session. You can't repeat sessions
every
again.
24 hours.
Yeah.
You do get this feeling, like, in those meetings, that they're like, so in the intensity of those meetings is maybe there's something not, you're have the unreliable narrator coming up, where at Rosemary's Baby you had this, like, what's going on at these parties, they don't totally feel like quite right, like what's going on here, and it starts making you play that guessing game, which I think
and Rosemary's Baby, I always got the creepy vibe from, like, the party she was going to. Like, I never got any other creepy vibe from the
grief group.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what makes this movie great.
It was like it snuck up on me,
right?
Like the slow, like, like atmospheric.
But I will say this too, though, because they drop all these hints, and this was such a, like, brief thing. And again, Elise brought this up. There's this moment where when she's at the first grief thing, and she says, "Well, they made me come to one of these before," and it's like, what happened before? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like this, like, throwaway moment, but it clearly means something.
And who's they?
Yeah.
Well, I think the reason why is the thing they start hinting at, and then they reveal.
When's the sleepwalking thing?
The sleepwalking during one of her episodes of sleepwalking, she doused herself in lighter fluid and
the
her
kids
in lighter
paint
fluid.
Thinner.
This was
paint thinner. Yeah.
This is one of these moments where this movie just, like, shines, and this is where I'm like you. This is one of the best I've seen, because these are very simple things, but it's like these simple things that are so much scarier than, like, all the crazy complicated shit that, like, lesser filmmakers try to throw in. You know, it's she tells a story about sleepwalking and dousing herself and the kids in fucking paint thinner and then lighting the match.
Yeah.
And I also like the hint, and you brought this up a little bit about unreliable narrator, where when she's telling this new friend she meets, Joan, about that, she says, and of course I was sleepwalking, but you get the hint that maybe she wasn't sleepwalking.
Well, there's also an extra element of tension in the movie because her son vividly remembers this happening.
Right.
So that's always playing underneath everything.
It underpins
possibly terrified of his mother.
all the tension.
And then also a really great seed is planted in this first act before we get into the character of Joan coming into it. Before that, Gabriel Byrne's character, her husband, gets a telephone call from the cemetery that her mother's grave has been desecrated.
Yeah.
He doesn't tell her. He keeps it a secret from her because obviously she's fragile and he probably doesn't want to screw her up any more than she already is.
Right. And I feel like that's the crux of his character throughout.
Yeah.
Is that he's just, I think, he feels very ineffectual and he doesn't want to make things worse because they're already, like, in his mind, as bad as it could possibly get, you know?
Yeah.
And so he just kind of sits by and lets, you know, he doesn't reach out as much as maybe, you know, in hindsight, you would think he should have.
He does once the boy.
Oh, for sure.
He basically lets her know it's on. I will protect my boy.
But even then, I still I feel like he's trying so hard to hold them all together. Because I feel like when I was watching it, I thought when she had that outburst, and after, you know, all this shit, I probably would have said, I'm taking Peter, and we're gonna go stay with somebody for a couple of weeks and just get some space and some distance. And I felt like, so yeah, he definitely, I felt like he was trying. That's what made me just think that he wasn't just a nothing character. Because I can see how some people would think he was just sort of, you know, walking through and not doing anything. I think it was this idea that he wanted to protect him and he wanted to he wanted to reach out, but like at the same time, he wasn't sure how or even if he could, you know, and you know, how far do you push when you know that your wife is just grieving like over this unbelievably horrific double event.
Well, we haven't even gotten to that part.
I also got the feeling he was just exhausted too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure
going through his own shit.
He's going through his own shit. He's probably dealt with like this, you know, a tension between the son and daughter for years.
Well, and questions about when you find out later, questions about his wife's sanity.
And then like the daughter they have to deal with, like that's kind of
Charlie is challenging, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure he just seems like the end of his rope. And
that's the subtitle of this
challenging Charlie.
So, like you said, like these characters felt really lived in and real.
Yeah.
That's why I got the feeling from him. Like he's not being ineffective or anything like that. He's doing the best he can.
Right.
But he's just so exhausted and worn out from dealing with years and years of hurt, like, you know, Toni Collette stuff. That
character is only 40 years old.
Yeah, well, actually, just real quick, I did think it was funny. Like 2 years ago, Toni Collette's married to Adam Scott, which is like our age, and now she's married to Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah,
who's like 60 something.
Yeah, well, it happens.
This is funny.
So Charlie in a box. Eventually,
nobody wants this Charlie in a box.
Charlie is a kind of antisocial 13-year-old. She's strange.
I thought she was much younger before they said she was 13. Too. I thought she was like 10, 8 or 9.
I also thought she was a little person playing a child at one point because she's that. I mean, she's that
really
like,
good actress.
She's really good.
Yeah.
So I thought there's no way this is a child, but yes, she is a child.
She's good at playing aloof and creepy without like playing it that way. I mean, it felt real natural that she would be cutting off birds' heads and building them into statues.
Well, let's get the elephant out of the room. Like her look is very
strange.
Yeah.
And
I think that was
she's got some face going on.
Was that a little too easy?
She looked like the dwarf from Don't Look Now. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you're listening to this and you've seen Don't Look Now, I think clearly who the director of this movie, I think, is a fan of that film because this has a lot of the similar beats in it.
All of those 70s like kind of supernatural fit, like this you said, this filmmaker definitely, I think, has a love for that period and that type of
like
film.
This fits right in with movies like The Wicker Man, Don't Look Now, like you said, Rosemary's Baby. There's even elements of The Shining in this.
Ninth Gate,
and like a lot of the overhead shots reminded me of when Jack's at the typewriter in The Overlook.
Oh,
like
for sure.
She's working
there's
in
like
her art studio.
there's like the shots where the camera's upside down.
Yeah.
It looks like she's walking on the ceiling.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of camera tricks that I recall, like The Shining.
Yeah.
So Charlie's kind of an oddball, antisocial,
allergic to nuts.
And
that becomes important later.
And just kind of after her grandma's death, kind of like just walking around in a haze and cutting birds' heads off and making weird toys.
Oh, and we find out too that she was her grandmother's favorite. She was like Toni Collette, because of the estrangement with her mother, didn't let her son really be around her mother.
Right.
But then when Charlie was born, she kind of inserted herself into her life and almost sort of like took the little girl.
Well, they insinuate
She was like
through the miniatures that she
breastfed the child,
the daughter, which I think is part of whatever ritual.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you had to have
And
some
that grandma
kind of
had
human.
a big old titty too.
Yeah. And you had to have, when you find out later in their spiritual guidebook, that you had to have some kind of connection in order to be able to kind of connect to the spirit world. So Charlie was connected to that grandma because she was feeding off of her.
Well, like at the end, like the caption under her name was Queen Lee.
Yeah.
So it's obvious
That's
there's a
grandma.
connection to like King Payman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Peter, being his regular teenage kid self, wants to go to a party because there are going to be pretty girls there.
Before you get to that, like, I want to just mention that Charlie has this crazy treehouse in the backyard.
Yeah.
And they're always saying, it's cold. Why are you sleeping up there? She's like, because I'm weird.
Yep.
And you also find out that Charlie doesn't have a connection to emotion. Even the mom says that there's not, when she was birthed, she didn't even cry on that day. So there's no emotional connection whatsoever.
Yeah, she's like one of those kids.
And she's a big fan of drag queens.
You know what I mean, though, right? Like,
Why?
those kids that have that problem, that emotional stunting.
Oh, yeah. Charlie's always going like this.
She pops
like
her
Alyssa.
tongue.
Yeah, she has tics.
So,
which becomes a great, like, it becomes her Jaws theme later.
You're right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So Peter wants to go to a party with the girls.
Peter party.
Smoke the weed. A Peter party.
Peter's super sweet. Can we just say
he's a regular normal kid.
He is so good to his little sister. For a teenage boy, his mother forces him to take his 13-year-old sister.
Well, you're gonna take your sister, and he's like, I guess.
And the little girl doesn't want to go either.
Right.
But she's so frazzled, like the mother, and like she's. Because the little girl too, they have like a tension again because of the closeness to the grandmother. Right. It's just like this emotionally fragmented family.
Well, and the sad part about his character is that you start to realize that this kid is dealing with incredible anxiety,
pressure
and panic attacks even before this horrible thing, even worse thing happens in his life. But the only real outlook, or the only real like thing he has to comfort himself instead of family is weed.
Yeah.
And he smokes. I mean, every time you see this character, he is smoking a bowl or smoking with friends or.
Yep. And the great thing about this too is, even if you took out the supernatural stuff and just moved it into a family drama, it would still be like really powerful.
Reminds me a lot of. You ever seen Ordinary People?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, this movie has a lot in common with that too. Like you were saying, like if you stripped away the supernatural elements, Ordinary People is very much this movie.
Kind of the wrong one. Mentality that's so powerful.
Well, it reminded me of when you talk about Kevin too.
Yeah,
just the fact that she didn't want
the baby.
Yeah, and has a connection with like the other one more than the other, the one that she didn't want.
Charlie at the party gets kind of left alone.
Yeah, which again I think it's important to note. Again, Charlie didn't want to go, and her mom insisted that he take her.
Yeah. And so she ends up eating a slice of cake full of nuts, starts to have her anaphylactic shock. The brother bundles her in the car and starts racing for the hospital.
And he's high.
He's just gotten high.
Do you think that's the reason why he didn't didn't go to drive to the hospital instead of driving home and just...
I think he was on his way to the hospital.
He said he was taking her to the hospital.
Well, he was taking her to the hospital, but...
Then...
there's a...
Oh, you mean like... When the accident happens?
Yeah.
So an accident
We're going to talk
happens.
about it. I mean, we're still in spoiler territory the rest of this episode.
Was it just a dead deer?
It was a deer, yeah, and he swerved.
And
Charlie stuck her head out because she's trying to breathe. Because that, even just her reaction to the nuts was very scary. Her like choking in the back seat.
He's like, I'm coming. And then he swerves. She's got her head out. She hits a pole, gets decapitated.
Coming after there's a scene where she cuts a bird's head off with a pair of scissors. So
it
is put that together.
Horrible.
Decapitation is a running theme throughout this movie.
Yeah, and actually, this is funny too.
Which I like.
And I said like, you see all these like these torture porn movies where they like try to like get to you through all these like horrific, crazy like things, but there is nothing scarier than something simple like fucking decapitation. It sticks with you in a way that, like, you know, watching somebody get...
It's final. It's so final and so instant.
And just a headless body, there is just something just awful and wrong about it.
Not to get ahead of ourselves, but there is some pretty grotesque gore that comes a little bit later.
There is
go
a
to the
huge
head
payoff.
of the glass.
Well, and that's the thing that I love about this too, because it uses gore in the right way. Like, it's very sparing, so when it happens, it's very jarring and like,
Well, it's like with I always say the scariest thing is what you don't see. And he drove home with that body in the back seat.
Yeah.
Like, freaks out.
And then
home.
he went to bed, not telling anybody.
Yeah.
And then the next scene you hear, it's not the same as the reaction, because next scene you hear is just Toni Collette screaming.
That is one of the most upsetting parts of the movie, is hearing her discover the body.
Yeah.
And like you said, you don't have to see it. You know.
Yeah, you know what's in the back seat. But later on, there's like a scene of her head on the road covered in ants.
Horrifying.
And that's horrifying as visually, but I was more disturbed about, when he drove home with the body in the back seat.
And
just went to bed, and the body was in the driveway till morning when she discovered her.
Well, also showing that head is more shocking, and placing that moment after that scene.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It ties it together.
Well, you also think that the filmmaker's sparing you of the worst of the actual visual elements, how violent the scene is.
Because you don't know really what happened.
Right.
Because you obviously don't see the body, but
her head popped off.
And it's masterful too, because Andy's saying he goes to bed, but he doesn't go to bed. He's laying in bed, but the whole entire time, all you see while Toni Collette is getting ready to see her daughter is his eyes wide open. He's having one of those dark nights of the soul where he's in a trauma state. So you experience the terror of what the mother is seeing it on his face, which is still nothing, because the kid is just in a trauma state, which you would be.
Can you imagine going to the detailer after that?
Getting your car detailed?
Yeah.
I think that's a service you're going to want to pay for. Do a home visit.
So, like, after this, that's when she meets Joan in the parking lot. She's going to go back to the grief group, decides I can't fucking do it. Leaves. Joan's like, hey, I remember you.
She stops her driving away.
That's a real important part. But before we get there, can we talk about what her job is? Because I struggled with that. I feel like there's a metaphor in this whole, because the miniature thing, because we do get this another very horrifying scene, in my opinion, is Toni Collette rebuilds the accident.
Such a strong moment.
Yes, in miniature form, and she's doing this. She's being told you're only hearing from her book she's a book publisher, and she does miniature art. So she's like doing dollhouse art, but you only hear the book publisher on the phone, and then through the Post-it notes.
Well, that's the gallery owners she's gonna show the miniatures.
Well, but she's doing. I mean, you see her last book. Yeah, you can see the book. So maybe in the gallery, she takes the photos of these gallery pieces, and he's like, "Is the project going to be done? Is it going to be done?" And a lot of the experiences, you're hearing like her husband saying, you only have 6 months, that's not a lot of time, you're in your crunch time, and the Post-it notes coming from the whole thing. And I don't know, I think there's a lot to be said about what she's doing or what she's creating in these dollhouses. Maybe there's nothing.
Well, it seems like it's a therapeutic thing. And I think, because we were also talking about why would she create that? And it's sort of like, I feel like people who have a certain kind of trauma where there might be uncertainty in their mind, they weren't there for it, or even like people who've been cheated on, or something bad has happened to them that they couldn't see happening. I feel like people get into this thing where they want this morbid detail so that they just know, they can feel like they know what it looked like, and what it to take away that idea
gives you control over
unknowing. Yeah. So it's to everyone else, it's why are you fucking building that?
Right.
And it's this way and I think a lot of her art was based around her life.
Yeah, she'd made a little miniature of her mom in hospice too.
And the funeral,
Yeah, so
and
she did for every tragic event in her life, or sad event or anything like that.
And it kind of even reminded me of the way the gods would have the little play sets of all of the mortals.
Well, thank you for bringing that up.
Well, it's effigy almost, because
Clash of the Titans.
Because the book that she was drawing the pictures in, and he burst into flames. I think it was like kind of like representing the characters as like real things.
Yes, and to what you just said, and actually, again, thank you to Elise, because she makes me understand things deeper than I even did. Like, all of this plays like a Greek tragedy, and then they're also studying Greek tragedy in school, and it's like a real tight theme to where it's like mimicking, what they're doing, what Peter's learning in school, and then this whole thing is very much a Greek tragedy.
Did you get that scene was a nod to John Carpenter, the original Halloween? The talk about fate with Laurie Strode.
I didn't think about it, but now that you mention it, I see that.
And the movie even opens up in such a way, because after you see the obituary, you're like seeing this dollhouse or the miniatures house that you're looking at and all of this. But then you kind of get the narration flip script right at the very beginning of the film, because you're actually inside the dollhouse and you didn't even realize it when Peter wakes up and walks across. I think it's Peter wakes up and walks across the room, and the whole time you thought you were studying the dollhouse.
Right, and I think
the transition's really cool.
And I think that is definitely also a nod to the fact that none of this is in anyone's control. These people are being moved by forces outside themselves.
It's like a voyeuristic,
I like the I was thinking it's almost like Moonrise Kingdom, I think. Is that what I'm thinking of, where they had they would zoom in on like it was almost like a dollhouse, the way they had the open scene and I kept waiting for like bung, 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 bung,
like a Wes Anderson like music coming up.
So girl gets her head popped off. There are these great arguments that Toni Collette, this argument at the dinner table that Toni Collette has with her son. And again, I cannot overstate how good she was, because when she feels this stuff, like someone will just say something to her and it sets, like, just the way she goes, what? Like, you can tell that she's on edge. Like, I've seen this, like, where someone is saying something, reasonably asking a question, like, why are you doing this? She's like, what? And when she basically tells Peter how much she blames him and how she can't forgive him for what happened to Charlie, and how she just needs him to take responsibility, which is, of course, is a crazy...
It's interesting in that, like, it's not just her lashing out at him, because there's also some kindness.
No, there is. She's saying, like, I'm sorry that I feel this way, but I do feel this way, and I just can't not tell you.
Right.
You can tell she lives her life like she's waiting for the dig.
Yeah.
She's waiting for somebody to touch her shame zone, and when someone touches that, then she's ready to go.
She is always right here. She is always at 9.
Well,
just waiting for someone to push her over to 10.
The whole family speaks in the way that anyone who's been through a lot of therapy does.
Yeah.
So they're doing things the way that, like, they're not attacking each other in like this aggressive upfront way, but they are intense with each other.
Yeah.
But
and
they're
it's brutal honesty.
And it's the brutal honesty, but they're doing everything the way that, like, a therapist encourages people to say, tell them, you make me feel this way.
Right.
It's in my mind, but this is how I feel. And the way they talk to each other is all that deep. There's like that detachment, the clinical detachment.
It's awesome. I didn't even think about that, because of course they probably have gone through therapy, considering
their lives are screwed up.
Yeah. So that is a great detail I didn't even pick up. But like now, I see what you're saying.
It's just so many layers that run so deep in this movie. It's like reality,
and we don't really even understand if their therapy is therapy, or is their therapy a part of religion, their religion, or that whole spirituality piece of it, or how is that connection happening?
Right.
I mean, that's where some of that abuse can happen from.
They seem ignorant of the mythological and spiritual stuff.
I think it was probably something court ordered.
Yeah, I
think that's what that line about "they made me do this" once before.
I think her husband, like, maybe had her committed or something.
Yeah,
because after she tried to incinerate everybody.
Yeah. Just her fight, just her losing her shit on the kid is so scary in and of itself, and just that someone could. And again, you're right. She's not. It's not even that she's being she's just being too honest, and just the things she's saying to him are so horrifying to imagine, like a loving mother saying to a loving child. Like it's pretty fucked up.
But what I like about her character is, like, she's never unsympathetic. She's unlikable a lot of times, but you never not feel sorry for her.
Yeah, I just feel like she's a real person. Yeah. Like, I don't even think of it in terms of...
That's true of everyone in this movie.
Yeah, I just thought of them as real people.
Yeah.
with good and bad sides entirely.
Well, then there's Joan. So Joan shows up like a friend. Joan's like, I lost my son. I lost my grandson. I'm here for you if you need anything. So she takes her up on it and kind of unloads a little bit.
Real quick, and I just thought of this, and maybe it's stupid that I just thought of this. Do you think our grandsons were sacrificed for something with this shit?
Or were they even real?
Well, something was happening.
Yeah,
maybe, but like she wasn't part of the bloodline. It had to be part of the bloodline, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, who knows what other rituals?
Yeah, you don't know what kind of stuff they're doing. Well, I thought it was eerie that there was
or
something.
It could be just a crock of shit that she was.
Yeah, it could be, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
In that, there's another subtle thing in that scene where Joan waves her down. She's like, I remember you from last time, but you notice, like, Toni Collette's character doesn't necessarily remember Joan.
Right.
So, like, you get that.
Joan was a plant for
right.
sure.
Yeah, you get the foreshadowing right there too. That that she just turned up there.
I don't know.
This
I
was
still
all
don't trust this
orchestrated.
grief group.
Yeah.
It was completely orchestrated. So, now she's got...
What's funny is I hadn't thought of that until you said that even the grief group itself, like, it's like, how deep does it go?
Do we don't know if was the grief group?
Well, that's what
fake
I
too?
when they at the end of the movie, we'll get there. At the end of the movie, I was wondering in the room if those people.
Yeah, there's
were
all
the
those
grief-
acolytes.
But I was wondering if that was the grief group. I would like to see it again just to see if those faces
too.
matched
Because
up.
they did behave. I mean, I thought it was just sort of like a weird, like, both like dark comedic kind of thing where they were just like staring at her.
Mm-hmm.
But when you brought it up, I was like, oh, I wonder if maybe the grief group itself was set up just to fuck with her.
Or it was the religion.
So Joan's now got her in her clutches, and so Joan runs into her at the art store one day, and she's like, holy shit, I got this thing, man. I talked to this medium. I have talked to my grandson. You've got to come try this. Come to my house. Kind of does the whole dog and pony show of contacting her grandson. He's writing.
And what I love, too,
on the chalkboard.
What I love about this movie, because I feel like a lot of, like, horror movies that are trying to be, like, intelligent these days, they try to keep it ambiguous, where you're like, was it all in her mind or what?
Right.
This movie is absolutely unambiguous because plenty of people are experiencing this. Like, it's real.
Yeah.
So this has got like mom all in a tizzy. She's like, I'm gonna contact Charlie.
Her reaction to the seance is so great. Like,
Well, even
again,
before they get even in there to do the seance, she notices that Joan has a welcome mat
right.
that is similar to designs her mom had made. And she's like, oh, my mom had designs just like these. And, that's another clue, that you get that they're connected.
There's a connection, yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. I was like, there's going to be something about that. I didn't realize it'd be as dark as it was, but...
So Joan gets her in the house and lights a candle and does this, like, little thing, and to contact her grandson's son, and sure enough, shit happens. Like, he writes on a little chalkboard, and Toni Collette's hair gets blown, and like and her reaction is so real. Like,
she looks under the table, which I like that they're going to address the skepticism. They don't have to draw out this huge debate about what's real, what's being fake. All she's got to do, she looks under the table. Now that they've addressed that, the character's satisfied what she saw happen.
Right.
And they do that twice in this movie.
And her need to just get out of that room, it felt
she's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And Jen's like, take this shit. This is what you do at home. I've given you the instructions, the candle, go forth and conquer.
Yeah, she says you just have to say these words. It's in another language.
Klaatu, Farakta,
Niktu. And
bless you.
Thank you.
And so, Toni Collette just takes the shit and goes.
So she does it by herself, but you don't see that. You see her waking up her husband and son, like, you gotta come see this.
If you ever seen Witchboard, you never do that shit alone.
No.
Because you open yourself up.
And can I tell you, I don't know I can't remember where in the movie this falls, but again, the scene where, well, first of all, there's this really horrifying, she's having a nightmare, and I don't even know if this is nightmare or real, where first of all, I know this part was nightmare, where she sees her son's like just ants coming out of his head and all over the place. That was terrifying. But she goes into his bedroom, and again they start having this like super too honest conversation where she basically tells him, I didn't want you. I tried, and he's like, why did you have me? And she's like, I tried to abort you. You're like, oh shit, but I didn't think you could be any more.
She said, like, I tried everything to to having a
miscarriage.
miscarriage.
Yeah,
and you just wonder what horrifying things she did to try to do that.
And what's great about it is you can see her trying to hold it in. Like, she keeps covering her mouth, and then it's like she has these things and she just can't keep it.
It's
to
almost
herself
like
anymore.
Liar.
Yeah, it is exactly
With Jim
like
Carrey,
that.
where he's in there. He's like, "It was me,"
And everything that comes out of her mouth just gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
And there's this really awesome flip where they show the son, and then they go back to her, and now she's covered in paint thinner.
So is he.
And then they go back to him, and he is too. It's like, oh dang.
Yeah, that was
then
a
she
scary
wakes up.
moment.
That was a great scene. But so did they have that conversation then at
I
all?
don't think so. I think it was just all part of it.
Something else I really loved, just from the photography standpoint, when he's in the bed and he thinks he sees Charlie in his bedroom.
Yeah.
And it's not like they had an actor standing there, but they created that whole matrixing thing where there were things in the room,
objects
that just were in the shape of that character, and it's not like it worked on him the same exact way you see it as an audience member,
right?
Is the same way the character sees it. Just like, I don't know if that happens to you guys at
Oh
night.
yeah.
It used to when I was a kid a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
The movie set it up because at one point after her mom dies, she actually does see her mom in the room.
Yeah.
So when you see that like silhouette of the chair and the ball, you think it's like that same type of thing, but it's just, his imagination.
And then at this point in the movie, after the dream and all that stuff, they start saying, "Oh, the house smells." They just start talking about there being a bad smell in the house, and it's just said and brushed off, and it's placed after that paint thinner scene, so you think maybe there's this smell of chemicals or whatever, and maybe
that's exactly right.
You think maybe they're talking about that because they never describe what the bad smell they're smelling is.
Right.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So she does a seance with her husband and son, and they are like, the fuck.
Because it works.
It works. And Charlie is drawing in her notepad.
I love the son's reaction to this so much.
Yeah, oh my gosh, when he starts saying "mommy,"
when he goes back to like his infancy and starts saying "mommy, mommy, stop this."
Everybody's reactions are so real.
The characters in this film, like, they do these switches, and I think Toni Collette, like, when she switches, you're not always sure, like, for me personally, I'm not necessarily sure that her sleepwalk state isn't her switching in, because you see her go dark, you see her voice change from time to time when you're not exactly sure, is she being taken over? And so that's why maybe you do kind of wonder, led to believe that when Peter was covered with the lighter fluid,
exactly,
it could have been not, she says she's sleepwalking, but if she's just being taken over, like, maybe she's flipping in and out of this.
That's what I was thinking.
Mode.
Like, when she was like insisting so hard, when she was like, I really was just sleepwalking, you're like,
and it's the same thing you get, you don't see the Joan character a whole lot in that film, but I don't know if anybody else got this real uncomfortable, like, if Joan puts her hands on Toni Collette's one more time, like, she's gonna pop her in the face because she's super duper handsy with her, like, you are gonna do, and keeps like getting grabby, where you're just kind of wondering, like, what's taking over these people, like, what are they connected to there? So
I forget, why does she end up in the attic?
Why did she initially go in the attic?
I don't even know if we know what she just gets in the attic for something.
Is this before or after she tried to burn the book?
After, I think.
So
because she hasn't made that discovery yet.
Yeah, it's after.
Is the attic where her box is, mom's box is?
No.
You know what it is? It's because she starts piecing together that possibly Joan knew her mom.
Oh, that's right. She finds the photo album.
She finds the photo album, and then I think she goes in the attic to look for more.
There's welcome mats up there.
And can I tell you can I tell you what creeped me out the most?
Is the all them witches moment.
Yeah. What creeped me out the most about the photo album. So she finds this photo album, and it's her mom with all these people that she doesn't know, and they have like these weird. She has like the weird necklace, and it's like
looks like Gen Con.
But that's what's so creepy about it. It's like it looks like this cult is having their meetings just in like like a rec center or like the community center at an apartment complex, and they're just like in regular clothes. It looks like a fucking MLM meeting,
Right.
like a fun party
you
or
expect
something.
Goya instead. You get like
We're opening pearls today.
Yeah, and it just grounds it.
Yeah.
And summoning a demon.
And like the picture of her grandmother, like it looks like she's getting ready for her ascension.
Okay, at first, I thought that was a kind of a very cheesy picture, but now that I think about it, it's very creepy.
Yeah, she's getting ready.
No, just the joy on her face.
Yeah.
Of like this demon coming, and just what she had to do to get to that point. I think. Because she had to probably do some horrific shit too.
It reminded me
that
of
look on her face was part of what really scared me.
It was like this unbridled joy on her face.
It's like those scenes with Lord Summerisle in Wicker Man where they're all singing and everybody's happy and stuff.
It's that religious fervor, but like it's for something awful.
Well, and you see that, you get that at the beginning of the film because the grandmother or the mom leaves her a letter in that book where she slams it shut, but that letter says, like, I promise you the end is worth all of the pain. Like the end is going to be all the sacrifice.
Does she use the word sacrifice?
I'm not sure she uses the word sacrifice, but
But there's one small thing I had problem with that when she found the mats, that welcome mats in the picture book, the album. Like they're banking on her not going through that before she met Joan. Like if she had just gone through with the stuff and saw the picture.
Let me tell you something, Andy. If I went through a photo, let me tell you. If you go through a photo album and you're not going to, and then meet a person who's in that photo album, you won't connect the two things. Your brain doesn't work that way. So you only recognize people in photos after you've met them in person usually. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
Like if you went, like they did studies on this sort of stuff, like where somebody runs their, they tell a classroom full of people to note what a person looks like, and they have them come into a room and they leave and they send a different person in the same clothes, and the context, you have to have like multiple sets of context for your brain to start recognizing people.
It definitely would be easy to like not recognize that person. And
but she left so many clues in that box.
Yeah.
So that was a little problematic for me. Like it's a small thing, but if she had gone through that stuff a little bit more, she could have known that something. Though,
didn't it all just seem like weird? It seemed like harmless, armchair spiritualism type stuff. Like the titles of the books were very much
invocations.
Yeah, they were really innocent sounding and they were innocent looking
until something horrible starts to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when you start looking at everything in that box differently.
So when she's up in the attic,
that box,
she found some horrible shit, namely the headless body of her mother.
Yeah, so there's
lying under the symbol.
Your desecration pays off. It's just like, again, another Halloween reference where in the first act of the original Halloween, Judith Meyer's grave is desecrated, and you get the payoff in the third act.
Well, and what's funny, because we were bringing up all these things that might have been influences, like even her looking through the photo album is very much like Jack Torrance going through the stuff in the Overlook.
And it's All Them Witches from Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
It's real similar to that.
Is this when she tries to burn the book? Doesn't matter. So she decides to burn her daughter's book because she realizes some fucked up shit's going on.
That the bringing Charlie back was the wrong thing to do. I think she thinks that Charlie blames her brother, like her spirit blames Peter, and that she's fucking with him, and she's like, so to save him, I have to destroy this.
Peter's in trouble.
Yeah.
So as long as that connection stays open.
She throws the drawing notebook into the fire, but
because
she gets set on fire.
We didn't talk about this. In the notebook, it's just continuous pictures. Just what we think is Charlie's spirit is drawing all these pictures of Peter's face,
like crying
and screaming, and the eyes crossed out. It's real horrifying.
But when she throws it in the fire, her arm catches on fire, so she realizes that's a bad idea. So she tries to get her husband. She tells him about the body upstairs, and then she's like, "You need to burn this."
And she fully expects to die.
Yeah.
Like she's basically ready to sacrifice herself.
Like, we just got to do it
for Peter, but so she's gonna have him do it.
I die for Peter. You know what I'm saying?
Love
that dick.
Wow.
Nobody calls it Peter anymore.
So she gets Gabriel burned on board, and he throws it into
Ironically,
the fire.
Gabriel Byrne.
Well, and I think
Whoosh, by Gabriel Byrne.
and while I know it's
We
so
should have seen that one coming, huh, Andy? Speaking of foreshadowing.
What happened
The
that
casting is
switched?
perfect.
Who was going to burn from that book?
I guess it was anybody who threw it into the fire.
No, I think what it was they
needed him out of the
Payman
way.
needed Toni Collette. She was never going. She wasn't ever really in danger. Because I think she was carrying Payman's spirit, and they needed
her head.
They needed her head. They needed to get Payman out of her into Peter. So I think handing the book to Gabriel Byrne was probably almost like setting her on fire was probably a ploy to get her to do that. And then when
he went up like immediately, and she did not when she first did it. But I think at that point you see her face.
Well, she had also put lighter fluid all over the book the second time.
So she's like watching her husband burn to death, and her face changes. You see that switch flick, and that's when shit goes hey the fuck wire.
And that's when the spirit takes her over.
Yeah,
completely.
And then it gets banana sauce.
This is the A24 crazy ending.
Yeah.
Lots of mischief making.
I love the climax.
The climax is awesome.
So many dongs and boobies.
Well, when she first pops up on the ceiling, they play with the shadows so much that you could almost miss it.
I almost did.
And when you catch her up there before anything happens, you
hovering over Peter's bed.
You almost question: are you thinking, is the photographer in this movie doing the same thing they did with Peter and the silhouette? Are they just throwing something in the background?
Ballet, Peter and the silhouette.
Are they just throwing something in the background to let your brain piece together something?
I don't know. I think it was too obviously her to think that it was something else.
Well, I thought earlier that it was. I thought it was Charlie earlier too.
I did too.
Well, y'all are dumb.
I didn't catch it at first either. It was sort of like earlier when I heard people go, "Oh." Yeah. So then I was like, then I started looking around.
When she moved, I let out an involuntary.
I kept saying stuff through the whole thing. I was like, Jesus, go!
And I just started laughing.
Andy started laughing at me because I was going.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Man.
It was great.
And then Fred was like, "Don't go in there."
I was like, "Oh no, stupid."
Her chasing him through the house, super scary.
And Peter flees into the attic.
And I love this so much when she starts banging on the door, and I'm thinking she's using the stick.
Yeah,
and then they switch around and they show that she is now like clinging like a bug to the bottom of the door and banging her head on it
rapidly. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrifying.
And then Peter finds the old Christmas movies, and Ray Charles starts singing Christmas.
Falls through the ceiling, but it's okay. Yeah. They're gonna fix it.
Puts that little turban on.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much the Griswold's insurance premium had to be?
They probably couldn't insure him anymore.
Like
that. Switch insurance companies.
You know what was weird to me about that scene? When he fell through the ceiling and fell on the bed, the bunk bed was really close to the ceiling.
It really was.
It was really close.
It was oddly close. Nobody can sleep in that top bunk.
Well, they did though. Grandpa did, remember? Because he was staring at the picture of Cindy Crawford or whatever it was.
But he had like 6 inches to work with because that's how far he fell. It was just weird to me.
So that was Christmas Vacation. Back to Hereditary. He flees in the attic, and
there's weird naked people up there.
The weirdy naked. They are creepy.
They are super
because they're in the shadows.
Well, they were like almost glowing.
They were real white. Yeah. This is another great like placement of things where they don't even linger on it.
And,
it's just matter of fact.
And they had the same look on their face as the grandmother in that picture.
Yeah.
This like weird joyous smile.
Yeah. Well, also this is where the look of the movie shifts from being that community center gathering thing to going full Goya.
Yeah, exactly.
Like where you're like, oh, this is what I recognize from all those wood carvings, Satanists. You know, like, and that's what again just drives it home. Like, and makes it's this fucking grand slam at this point.
Yep.
And
ooh, and then you hear the sound.
He hears he looks up and his mom is floating near the ceiling,
and she's like using dental floss to cut her head off.
That was fucking nuts.
And again, another masterful way they said that, because you're like, oh, okay, she's gonna float across the ceiling again and scare me like she did last time, but no, you're about to see something you really don't want to fucking see, and you really don't want to see it.
Seesawing her head off.
She seesawed, and that look on her face was whoa.
Yeah. But it's not like a quick scene too. It's like a slow.
It goes on a while
until near the end. She speeds up, and when that actually ramps up, that's like a great trick that they did, was to do the faster as she got towards the end. And then he does what like William Friedkin did in The Exorcist, where in some of the most shocking moments the music cuts out and you're left in this vacuum of silence, and you watch her headless body float up into the treehouse.
Well, that's a little bit. That's after he jumps out the window.
Yeah, after he's. I'm sorry.
So he gets freaked out and jumps out the window, and I guess.
See, I like that scene where he jumped out the window, because I feel people should do that more often in movies to get away from like a threat. Yeah, because that'd be my first instinct.
Kill themselves.
Yeah, to just like not kill myself, but just get away from what's like chasing me or something.
Like Charles Durning in the Hudsucker Proxy.
So he jumps out the window, and you see this light that you've been seeing the whole time through the movie. That apparently is what represents Payman, or its presence, and it like sinks into him.
Everybody loves him,
and it looks like an in the beginning of the movie. It's what you think an orb looks like. Right. You think it might be Charlie,
right? And then you see, as he's lying on the ground, or he gets up, and then he sees her headless body floating up, and that is so scary.
It's really scary.
It's really scary.
The whole,
you guys okay?
Yeah.
The whole ending was kind of like a 180 from what you what you saw before, because I felt from the first and second act were very like grounded and realistic, whereas in the end, like last 10 minutes, it just went like whoa.
Again, it's very Rosemary's Baby. This scene in particular, and this is where we're bananas.
And Charlie climbs up into the treehouse.
Yeah,
and there's the whole cult. They're all together. They're fucking happy as
Peter
can be.
Climbs.
What'd I say? I said Charlie. I meant Peter.
And then there's an effigy,
and it's got
with Charlie's
head on top. It's got Charlie's head.
Yeah, and there's headless bodies
and a crown.
There's a crown. Yeah,
and this is a callback to the junk art that Charlie was building in the beginning of the movie,
right? Which
foreshadows this weird fucking statue with her severed head, piked on top of it. Oh God! Which,
yeah,
right. I thought for sure I was gonna have nightmares after I saw this movie.
And I thought if there was a moment when I was first going to sleep where I was like, I wonder if I'm gonna have a dream about this, but then I didn't. And then just the look on his face as they're exclaiming, that he now is where the mischief god Payman resides.
He's one of the 8 kings of hell, and they put this crown on him. And it looked like it was made of skin.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I think that was a nice little touch.
I kept thinking he looked like Jughead.
I did think it
like some burgers.
Weirdly, I did think it was just like some goofy paper,
like a Burger King crown,
which made it scarier to me.
Well, yeah, the fact that it wasn't like they weren't the crown. Yeah, it seemed simple.
Yeah.
Well, you could see the
like little bumps.
Either like jewels around, but it looked like the skin had been
looked like it had
pulled over.
I can't wait to watch this again.
I can't either.
Talking about it makes me want to watch it so bad.
The end it reminded me a little too much of. It was just a close up of his face and Joan talking and like saying they're all exalting him. It reminded me a little too much of the end of the Vivitch.
Well, it's the same
it's the same people,
company.
The same style. But I wish they would have just.
You wish they would.
Yeah, I wish they would have done a different way.
Peter,
because it just reminded me too much of like when Black Phillip started talking and you just got the close up of her face.
Well, it's a great companion for the witch.
It is a great companion,
but it was just stylistic a little too close for me.
Yeah, I feel like in a way, but if you look at it as just them mirroring each other, is kind of interesting. I never thought about it.
Yeah, it's
like maybe it's all
burn.
part of it.
Yeah.
It's the A24 CU.
They have a shared A24.
It goes with Mother also.
But sort of like what you were saying, Freddie. I think there's so many, like even as we're talking about it, there's so many little Easter eggs, and there's so many things that I want to go back and like little puzzle pieces. I don't know if anybody saw. Like I kept seeing that whole like stack of houses that ended up in the living room.
Yeah,
and they don't really explain that, I'm sure it ties in the story, and how she even finds out there's that sheet of this cult group that's going to be getting together that kind of appears in the film, and how everybody's supposed to find out about it, but they don't really call back to how that ties in anything, and I'm sure it does. So I think this is a movie that would really reward repeat viewings.
Agree. We're definitely going to watch it again. And I also love that scene when she goes back to Joan's apartment and she's banging on her door, and then they show the inside, and now it's not a pentagram. I also love that it's not just like this satanic thing. It's like
it's ambiguous enough that it almost looks Tolkien-esque.
But it is it's definitely a magic circle.
Yeah.
It's definitely a magic circle, and it's bad. Mm-hmm. And that she was tricked.
Yeah.
Bitch, you got
and
tricked.
I love the scene where Joan shows up at Peter's school and starts.
Oh
she's
yeah,
across the
I
street.
expel you. Yeah, she's trying to get a spirit out.
That reminded me of Prince of Darkness.
It was very Prince of Darkness.
There were so many moments that reminded me of movies I love.
You guys were so reminded of things.
So reminded. My member berries were bursting.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
So I think we all recommend this film in the movie
big recommend.
We liked it.
Huge recommend.
I strongly recommend.
Well, just talking about it and I like it a little more
Working
than
through.
Yeah. I'm absorbing it a little more. And the end just broke my heart, because you realize that
The whole family's decimated.
and their whole lives are a lie.
They never had any
And
choices.
they had no way out at all.
That's why I was saying it felt so oppressive to me the whole time. It was just like, this is, no matter what happens, these people are in turmoil and just chaos.
Yeah, another spoiler alert, but I felt the same way at the end of Lords of Salem.
It very much reminded me of the end of Lords of Salem.
Because you got these people who didn't do anything wrong.
Which was another Rosemary's Baby kind of homage.
And their lives are just being used, and it's a very cruel movie.
Yeah.
If you could change your feet.
Cruel movie.
So you may notice that we are doing a regular episode on a day when we would normally do feedback. We've postponed last month's feedback. Mm-hmm. And we're postponing that feedback again.
So feed us back.
Feed us back. crew@notlp.com. You remember the number?
It's got a 666 in it.
513.
666.
There it is. 0186?
I know.
Sounds good.
5309.
Well, my point is, we have a voicemail that I'll throw in.
My point. You better find it right now. I'm not doing a bunch of editing.
No, you just gotta. You can stop. We'll put it in later. It's from Dustin. There's a voicemail that I will dump in here.
Hey guys, it's Dustin. Obviously, a big thing I'm calling about is to offer all my condolences to Freddy and the entire NOTLP extended family for the loss of Freddy's mother. It's kind of hard, I know how hard it is, especially when it gets toward the end, when your mother, gets weaker and frailer, and you're doing all you can, staying close so you can be there for her. But I'm really glad you have such a supportive, family, friends locally, and just pretty much an entire network across the country of people who are there showing their support. I actually do have a memory of a kind of like a secondhand interaction that I thought I'd share because I thought it was really funny and it was really telling about you and your mom and your family in a good way. I just remember I found this video and it was like some stupid humor I thought Freddy would appreciate because I thought it was hilarious. He says this a compilation of this Vine account called Purple Crumbs, and it's a guy using like a T-Rex puppet, and he basically plays it as this manic crazy character, and and a lot of them he portrays the T-Rex as loving cocaine. So this particular compilation I posted on Freddy's Facebook page. And keep in mind, I'm holding my phone to the speaker now. It was just basically about a minute and a half of. Yeah, just a lot of screaming about cocaine. And so, obviously, Freddy liked it, and then somebody else liked it. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm reading it, and I'm like, okay, Shelby Jean King Morris. Is this a cousin who, is this somebody who married one of Freddy Morris' cousins? No, oh my God. Freddy's mom likes this thing with this ridiculous, over-the-top, stupid humor. It's like, yeah, basically, my host, they just kind of like, roll their eyes about like the really stupid stuff I like, but Freddy's mom liked it. I was like, well, how about that? This says a lot how you do to be the funny guy you are today. So, yeah, of all the things your mom and dad have done for you, that's, that's one thing, that's just one thing, they did to shape you and, the person I'm glad to have met.
I hope somebody calls in line and goes,
Oh, we didn't even talk about. Did we talk?
We
about
did.
That? Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
we
we
did.
did.
All right. Well, as always, we end the show with talking about Beelzebubs.
Oh, we're gonna do a card.
No.
We're already running really long.
We're
like
running
3
long.
hours now.
Before our episode.
So let's start with our favorite because he's number one here on the list. So therefore, the favorite.
Let's just read through these because it's a long show.
Jeremy
Yeah.
and Cassie.
Don't do
Jeremy and Cassie.
Don't
keep
do your
going.
riffs. Yeah.
Commanda. Hi, Amanda. Dale, welcome.
Dale, you're new, so you get one.
I
smell you. I don't know.
He just got his master's too.
He did.
Oh,
And so-
congratulations.
Master Dale.
Congratulations. You social workers are
How's
needed.
Tucker?
We just worked with a social worker
Yeah.
through hospice, so
Ooh.
your work is very important.
So good on you, Dale.
He's a social worker?
Yeah, he just got his master's.
Awesome. LISW.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go, man.
Mandy.
Mm-hmm. Mandy.
Adam.
What a great bunch of folks.
Brooke.
Big hearts.
Ernie.
I love
Ernest.
that. Love
Ernie
that
Ernest.
Can't get enough of him.
Oh, my Lord. Albert.
Mm-hmm.
A hero.
Tree and Alex.
Yours
Hey.
beauty.
Brandon Boone.
Oh, Brandon. We'll get together. We'll get together soon.
Oh, it rhymed.
Oh, it rhymes.
Oh. Bill in New York City.
Hey, Bill.
2 kinds of cheese on a cheeseburger.
Don't go to sleep. It's
Blake.
a city that stays up all night.
Hi, Blake.
I like this. You hear Kelly squeaking, Blake?
Uh-huh.
That was for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Mikey P.
Mikey P. You're a special guy.
Do you have a different last initial
What I
than
say
Mikey
about
B?
stop riffing? Just read them.
Elise.
It's a reflex
Hey,
at this
baby.
point.
Hi, Elise.
Lunch
And finally, Jimmy B.
All right.
who has the same last initial as Mikey B.
Oh my gosh, get out of here.
A lot of weird
Get the
things
fuck
happened
outta
with
here.
initials today.
So next week, we're going to do the invitation, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We invite you to watch the invitation with us.
And Freddie is going to review Across the River.
Oh, can I say something? Our
No.
friend Lewis,
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking about that. Please do.
yeah, he is going through some health problems right now.
If you're a long-time listener, you know Lewis.
Yeah.
Lewis Fowler.
Every September, he curates
Yeah.
Hispanic Heritage Month.
And he has a GoFundMe account set up to help with his medical bills.
Mhm.
And we'll probably throw a link up on our Facebook page or something.
I'll share the link on the Facebook page and group. But if you just go to GoFundMe and Google fundraiser for Lewis Fowler, it has Patrick Riley started it, and it's all for medical. He's got a long road of recovery ahead of him, and we all love Lewis, so
Absolutely.
please give him a hand if you
Send
can.
some love.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was kind of like wet.
Oops. All right, bye.
My head fell off.
Give me love.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed.